Hey everyone, it's Graham from Great Off-Road Adventures here. Welcome to our next trip. This long weekend we're heading east. We're getting out of Perth on Friday afternoon, so in a couple of minutes. And we're going to head out to Merredin, turn north, camp at Lake Brown tonight, and then go through to Elachbutting Rock, across to Mount Jackson, Helena Aurora Ranges, back down through Kooyanobbing to Southern Cross and back home. So bit of iron ore country, bit of mining country, a bit of old pastoral sheep station country, all in the woodlands. So really looking forward to going and exploring that area some more. Anyway, I've got to quickly throw my swag on the roof and we can get out of here. To the eagle-eyed viewers out there, you may have already noticed a change to the car. This weekend we're not taking the rooftop tent. Great Off-Road Adventures, Jess and myself, we've just moved house, new HQ, and as a result the carport's 5 centimeters lower, the opening is 5 centimeters lower, can't fit the rooftop tent on the car anymore. So what I've done is I've taken it off, going back to my old Tracklander roof rack. It was a lot more sturdier than the one that I made to fit the tent, plus it's more adaptable, and we're just taking the swag this weekend, as I've already mentioned. For the longer trips you will see us use the rooftop tent again, because it's worthwhile then to lift it onto the car and lift it off of the car. So yeah, for now we're just using the swag, but not the end of the world. Anyway, I'm going to make my way through the suburbs now. Just got to get to Guildford, pick up Jess, and then from there we'll start heading east. It's only about 280, 300 kilometres to do this afternoon, so not the biggest drive in the world. I think in planning this trip I forgot how quickly it gets dark in winter. Fortunately, we've invested in a good set of driving lights, and it makes driving out into the country when it's dark a hell of a lot easier. Well, we're just north of Merredin, and we've been going pretty much flat out from Perth, so figured it'd be a good opportunity for a little leg stretch. One of the important things when you're doing night driving like this is to manage your fatigue, so get out every couple of hours. It's about 8 degrees outside, so nice and cold and refreshing. Stretch the legs, we'll stand here for about 5 minutes. It'll be enough to wake us up. We've still got maybe 45 minutes or an hour to get to camp, but now we're on the rural roads, and it's a little bit more dangerous. More animals, less cars, and obviously more fatigue. So it's very peaceful, stars are out, cold winter's night, full moon. We'll enjoy it for a little bit, then we'll keep on moving. Well, we've made it to camp. Quickly set up the extension off the awning. This is just my homemade one with some clips. Thrown the swag under there. As I said, no rooftop tent this trip. Bit of a shame. It's a bit longer to set this up, but that is what it is. Anyway, everyone else is here. They're all set up. So I think I'm going to get a cold drink, sit around the fire, start to relax. Morning everyone. It was a cold night last night. It still is very cold this morning. The sun hasn't even risen over the horizon yet, but I was up nice and early and getting some exercise. Climbed up this rock behind camp here, Eaglestone Rock, on the edge of Lake Brown. You can see in the background. It's just beautiful. It was a really nice campsite there last night. Anyway, plan for today is get a bit of breakfast into us, and then we're going to head to Elachbutting Rock, which is another one of these big rocky outcrops. Has some more sort of like wave formations in it, a cave and a few other bits and pieces, and then from there we're going to hit the tracks across to Mount Jackson. Mount Jackson's our camp for tonight, and there is a track through there, but there's not a great deal of information about it on the website, or on the web, so I don't know what we're in for. We do have a couple chainsaws amongst us if we need to clear some trees. That or the winches, I'm sure we'll make our way through, but it does mean that we can't dilly-dally around too long. But let some people get some sleep. It was a late night last night, and I'll just keep taking in this awesome view. One of the big perks of going camping in winter is the ability to have a fire. I definitely miss this in summer. Quick and easy bacon egg toast sandwich. After a nice quick bacon and egg breakfast, it was sadly time to pack up camp and move on from Eaglestone Rock. It was a lovely campsite with a beautiful view, and if we're going through that area again, we would definitely be camping there again. Millstone Rock, or our camp at Lake Brown, and we're on our way now to Elachbutting Rock, Elachbutting Rock. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Elachbutting Rock. It's E-L-A-C-H. We've got to go through muck and boodin to get there, so we're out in the wheat belt at the moment. We just got to transit through here, and then we'll be onto the tracks. So let's knock this a little bit over and start the trip. Well, we've arrived now at Elachbutting Rock. It's pretty easy. It was just all good. Gravel roads, sitting on 90 km/h on the gravel. It's all out through the wheat belt, so it's all designed for heavy vehicles and tractors and machinery to access the paddock. So it's easy for us to drive on. But the rock's just out the window there. So we'll just get to the access track, and then we'll have a look-see and explore, and then we've got to navigate around some paddocks and get across to the track that goes to Mount Jackson. We're just walking in, we parked cars in the parking area, and we're just walking in now to Monty's Pass and the Elachbutting Wave. So that should be good fun to check out. So we've just arrived here, haven't really done much exploring yet, haven't ever been here before. My parents have, so they recommended we definitely do this little section. So left the cars and we're on foot.
That's so cool. How far back does it go?
I think it goes all the way around. This whole section's fractured off.
That is so awesome.
Oh, who brought the tripod? Not I. We're just making our way from Monty's Pass across to the Wave Rock, or the Rock Wave, whatever it is. And I'm really pleased to say that there is no vandalism and no graffiti here, so that's awesome. Keep up the good work, everyone. The visitors that visits Elachbutting Rock. So yeah, no, cool. It's good. Glad we walked in. It was definitely worth it.
Don't forget vegetation. Someone should pull it out. That one's around the back. Let's see what it says.
This is the way to come graze up.
The track around Elachbutting Rock is not overly difficult. You could quite easily achieve it in a two-wheel drive vehicle. If you visit there with a four-wheel drive though, I would absolutely recommend you take the opportunity to drive up the track that goes up the backside of the rock and check out the view from the top, because it is seriously beautiful. The wheat belt and the woodlands in this area are so flat that when you get up on a high point like these rocks or the ranges, you get to seriously appreciate the area that you're in.
direction, but it's got a huge bloody water catchment reservoir.
You know how they build those little like rock?
Yeah, they normally get the rocks there, just concrete all up.
Channeling down, and it had this massive reservoir that they built actually with the.
So what they do, they've got
One of the ones.
Well, after checking out the amazing view from the top of Elachbutting Rock, we decided to head back down, go and find a spot to have some lunch. We just finished at Elachbutting Rock. Now the plan is we've just got to navigate around a couple paddocks and get on the track. So it's also coming up to lunchtime. We're going to see if we can get around the paddocks, and then there's another rocky outcrop on the other side of them. We'll see if we can get there and have lunch there. So anyway, that's the plan for now. Well, we managed to successfully find our way onto the bushland side of the fence, which is the section of the fence line you need to drive to access the track that goes to Mount Jackson. The track's called the Sand Plains track. We only worked it out when we got to the start of it and found the sign. But this section along the fence line is in really good condition, but as you can see, there are absolutely no tracks, no wheel tracks, so the area is not driven very often. Fortunately, it didn't take us very long to find a lovely place to have some lunch. We even had a bit of grass underneath our feet and the cars. So I made a toasted jaffle sandwich for lunch on the gas burner. Just had tuna and rice. Everyone had a smile on their face, looking forward to what the track ahead of us held for the afternoon.
The John West stuff. The John West one that she liked. The John West one.
Well, we've just left the track along the edge of the farmer's paddock, and we've turned onto the Sand Plain track. Now, I had no idea what this track was called, the actual formal name of it, but there was a sign there, Sand Plain track. So there you go. So it's a pretty good track. No issues so far. So I think we're just going to go to 25 just for a bit of comfort. I think it's all just going to be this clay sort of sand mix, so it should be fine. What's taking so long, Millsy?
6 tyres.
I got an extra 2 tyres to do. What pressure's it done?
Go down to 30 on this, just because the extra weight I've got on it. And the trailer gone down to 25. Should be good. Pretty hard, like this all the way through. There's a couple of sandy spots. But yeah, as I say in the Caitlin, it's almost a mini Holland track. And yeah, those who've done the Holland track, yeah, if you have a chance to do this track, it's, I reckon it's even better.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, with the tyres let down, it was time to take on the Sand Plains track. Now, I'd have to echo Millsy's sentiments here. It's very, very similar to the Holland track. It is in a similar sort of ecosystem, but it's different. It has a lot less traffic to the Holland track, and thus it's in better condition, and is a really nice drive to get between Elachbutting Rock and Mount Jackson. one of the more enjoyable features of the Sand Plains track is, even though it's not any great distance, it's only about 35 or 40 kilometres, the scenery changes so often, as you would have just seen in the drone shots. Around every bend the scenery changes again, from trees to scrubs to rocky outcrops. It really is a super enjoyable track to drive. We've just crossed the rabbit-proof fence, or the state barrier fence. It was really nice to see that, because this is a recognised track, they've put a grid in place. So yeah, one of those things is, when you cross barrier fences or rabbit-proof fences, they all have different names wherever you go in Australia and around the world. Make sure you leave the gate how you found it. So, and that goes for all fences. Sometimes when you get permission to cross through private property, or some of the roads up north, some of the stations go through private property. The rule is, leave the gate how you found it. So if you found it open, leave it open. If you found it shut, make sure you shut it. So something to bear in mind when you're doing these tracks is, especially more so with private property, but something like that, where if the ignorant people don't look after it, they'll just shut it, and then no one can come out here and enjoy the bush, especially with private property as well. If the private owner of the property is kind enough to grant access to points of interest on their property, and they put some fences in place, leave the gates how you found them. Otherwise his livestock will run off, makes this job harder for him. Eventually he'll say, well, why should I allow these tourists in here that are just going to be ignorant and leave my gates open, and then we won't be able to go and see those points of interest. So a few thoughts to bear in mind, just whilst I think about it, whilst we drive the track. Well, it wasn't long after crossing the rabbit-proof fence, we came out on the main Mount Jackson Road, which is a good quality gravel road and had just recently been graded. Now, as a result, it was very dusty, so it's important when you're travelling on a road like this to put in a bit of a dust gap between each of the vehicles. So ensure that if you're the second or third or fourth car in the convoy, that you're not driving too close to the person in front of you. And obviously the important thing here is, if you're in a convoy, you can still maintain good communication over the UHF, even with a dust gap between the cars. Well, after making good time on the main Mount Jackson Road, We arrived at Mount Jackson Homestead with a fair bit of sunlight left. It allowed us the opportunity to go and have a look through the homestead, check out some of the history, and then go and find a nice campsite whilst we still had a bit of sunlight, get a bit of a campfire going or a bonfire, and start to relax. Well, we've just arrived at the Mount Jackson Homestead. This is the remains of it. Since I've been here last, they've done a massive clean-up, so that's good of them. How about that, hey? So this was dated March the 25th, 2011, or 26th here. And this was when Millsy first came to Mount Jackson. Still in the visitors book, hey? That's pretty cool. So we're talking 7 years and 3 months ago. Still in the visitors book. That's pretty cool. Well, I don't know how many more years the Mount Jackson Homestead's going to be left standing. It's obviously not in a very good condition at the moment. And since I was last here, it's definitely decayed. A few more bits and pieces have fallen down. So if this old sort of relics and the way that people used to live back in the day sort of interests you, I recommend getting out there and checking it out sooner rather than later. There's some lovely tracks, some lovely campsites. It's a really great piece of Australia.
2nd of June. What's this from? Do you reckon? Is this a battery? It says telecom, general purpose telecom on the side there.
Yeah.
Some shoes there. Anyone needing a pair of boots?
Well, the sun's going down. We've gotten to where we want to camp, Mount Jackson Homestead. Probably not going to camp near the homestead here. There's a lot of broken glass and stuff on the floor. When I was here a year ago, I mean, since then to now, it's been cleaned up a lot. But, yeah, there's still just bits of glass and bottle caps on the floor. So not the nicest sort of area to camp in. But it was cool to check it out. So I think we're going to try and mooch across or mooch down one of the little side tracks here and find a nice place to camp. We've just gone down one of the tracks from the Mount Jackson Homestead, found this nice clearing, a couple of hills behind us. So this is where we're going to call camp for the night. Got the awning out, going to attach the sidewall, peg it in, set the swag up, and that's it for the night. We're getting a little fire going behind you, sun's going down, so yeah, thoroughly enjoying it. It's awesome. Anyway, let's get the sidewall on quick. We just put this sidewall on when we go out here. Just we put the swag underneath and it just stops all the dew going on the swag. Still gives us a bit of area under the awning just to work where we're not covered in dew. So that's why we do this. it's been a pretty relaxed night. Dinner tonight was a stew, nice and easy. We pre-cooked it at home and just had to heat it up out here. So yeah, it was beautiful, nice and easy, super quick, super simple. Bugger all washing up to do now. So I think we're just going to go and sit by the fire and relax. Everyone's sort of doing their dinner. We'll just go and sit down, have a few drinks and relax, enjoy each other's company and watch the stars, and yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. But it's been a good night so far, good day, good trip, nice track. Really enjoyed the Sandplains track, really enjoyed checking out Elachbutting rocks, so it's been a really enjoyable day. Yeah, time to do some relaxing. I'll go and sit by the fire and warm up a bit. Well, I hope you've enjoyed watching episode 1 of our Goldfields and Woodlands trip. There's just as much action and stunning scenery coming up in episode 2, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's in the centre of your screen. And in the meantime, you can check out all our other videos, especially our Rocks to Reef series. The link to that is up on the screen as well. Remember, happy safe adventuring. Hopefully we'll see you out there on the tracks and trails.